Under the Marine Mammal Protection Act, Section 120 of the law, which is the authority under the Marine Mammal Protection Act for the states to apply for lethal removal authority for seals and sea lions that are impacting threatened and endangered salmon. We have been given three options. Well, we've been given a number of options, but we have basically three approaches. And one is to capture as many of those animals that have been identified on that list as possible and transfer them to permanent captivity if those facilities are available and ready to take animals. The other option that we have under the authority given to us under the law is to chemically euthanize the animals, just be put down with chemicals. And the third option is to gunshot in certain situations. The American Veterinary Association identified the chemical euthanasia and gunshot to the head are both humane ways to immediately put an animal down.
And we've got endangered salmon. That's the issue, is we've got endangered salmon. The marine mammals are protected, but we're focusing on the salmon issue.
Can I ask, how come humans are allowed to fish 13%
Let me interrupt real
salmon?
quick. Listen, the purpose of this media event was to come down and share some news to the media. We've got a number of media representatives here who are on deadline, who have to get stories filed, and I really appreciate this. This is not an opportunity to pursue your personal agenda here today.
Is it an opportunity to ask questions?
Please, let me finish, please. You can ask questions relating to media-related events. He's giving you that information, but the questions that I'm hearing are more personal agenda-driven.
So in other words, the real problem is the dams, the destruction of the habitat, and the overfishing that's really decimated the salmon. But the relationship between salmon and sea lions have coexisted over the millennia just fine.
The way the Corps is looking at it is we're concerned with the dams and sea lions coming up to the dams and taking fish. They're endangered fish. We need to do something about it. And management, which the states are taking action on, the sea lions have not been managed for that.
Okay, thank you. That's all right now. We do need to move on.
Pounds, and it's wired to a battery, 12-volt battery. The black boxes that are in the corners up high are the same as the one I have right here if somebody wanted to look at it. They basically have a receiver that receives a digital signal from the release mechanism. It's a multi-coded, digitally encoded signal, and each trap has a different transmitter, a different receiver, so we can close the one we want. So it'll be this inside trap door here that should close. It's going to happen really quickly, so if you wanted to, I don't know how it's going to look on film. It's probably going to go down really fast, but you might want to get your cameras ready. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Nothing. Okay. Wow. We have to go get the other transmitter.
Right now, we won't be entertaining any media or approving any media requests for access to this area during those sea lion operations. There's going to be a big crane in here. There's a lot of moving parts, and from a safety perspective, we need to let these folks concentrate on what they're doing. And so that's what's happening, effective 1 March.
In addition to the safety question there, that it might have to do with that being really unsavory, that the public is paying for the public execution of sea lions, and it might not look good to the public to see those animals being executed.
Our primary concern when we're conducting sea lion operations is safety of the people who are working, and to make sure that they're handling those sea lions humanely and taking care of those things that we got going with the authority that's been given to us.
It's not an easy task, and it's not going to be solved immediately, but we're working toward that.
How does the predation rate by sea lions compare with the predation rate by humans?
Well, humans don't predate on salmon.
Well, they're fishing 13% legally though right now, and the sea lions are taking 4%, but nobody's shooting fishermen.
The number of, from the tribe's perspective, the tribes are permitted fishing by treaties. That's a baseline amount of harvest that's allowed for them. Seeding lands to the public,
Right.
they receive that treaty fishing right, and they are planning to execute that
Are
treaty
they
fishing
concerned
right.
about the non-tribal fishing though that's taking place, the commercial and sport fishing by non-natives?
The tribes are concerned about fish. They're very
So they're
concerned
worried
about all
about
aspects of
non-native
fish.
fishermen?
And I'm here to discuss the research that we're performing, and that's really beyond that.
With all respect to the native traditions and native people, I'm really having a hard time understanding the native position on this, because it seems like, as was just said about the balance of Mother Nature, the relationship between salmon and sea lions is really the only natural existing thing that's still happening here. And the dams, the devastated ecosystems, and the over-commercial fishing is really what's destroying the salmon. So I'm having a really hard time understanding why native people are not understanding the plight of the sea lions and aligning themselves more with these other species, rather than wanting to kill the sea lions in order just to get more fish for themselves.
I think you're misunderstanding the
Well, the
tribal
last
position.
comment I heard was we
And
would
again,
like
that's
to
a
get the
policy
4,000
position
fish.
that I'm a scientist, and I'm not going to address that, no matter how many times you want to ask.
Okay. Well, I did hear her say that they want the 4,000 fish the sea lions are eating for themselves, which doesn't really go back to the idea of a balance of Mother Nature.
I think we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you, gentlemen.
In the fact that so many people from the public are so concerned about this issue, why can't someone like this gentleman here who works for the government videotape that and give that to interested members of the media? I mean, you're saying it's only a safety issue, but there's a perfectly safe way to get around that. Why would you be willing to actually do that?
I think right now the decision that we've made in respect to how we're going to deal with the lethal removal of these sea lions is internal. We believe that we don't need to do any videotaping of that.